today?
No, I'm here to see Claire, actually.
And recording comments all along. I want to say that. Good afternoon, fellow carriers. Welcome to the weekly lunch meeting of the Rotary Club of Paris.
Yeah, of
Things
course.
are better when you are here. We will begin the meeting in our traditional fashion with Rotary invocation, O Canada, and the toast to the Queen. Please remove your hats, stand as you are, and join with me. For good food, for good friends, for the opportunity. Rotary.
Wow, we all see colors the same way. That's pretty cool. My name's Maria, by the way.
Nice to meet you, Maria.
Nice to
I've
meet you.
heard so much about you.
Oh, you have? Great. Awesome.
So many wonderful.
Oh, great. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
I was the one she was camping with.
You were? That's awesome.
I dragged her out onto a camping trip.
Oh, that's amazing. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you
It's in
too.
Hudson, right?
Absolutely. Thanks.
Take a look. It's out of Whitney.
If I could just ask for the candidates to just join our left, up to my left, please. Please be seated if you have. Our beacon editor this week is past President Ian. Ian, thank you for taking that on. Give me a second. If you have an announcement, please forward a copy to Ian for inclusion in our minutes.
Oh, you didn't know. Don't shut up, George. No.
That wasn't a minute.
Oh, sorry, am I not there yet? Well, I'll
Carry on.
for a second. Welcome back from lunch. We're just greeting our Zoom crowd back in. So we'll take a second. I'll put a note out here for Carrie Thornton to the club who's running our auction, which is coming up in a month and a half. Just a reminder that turn the mic on. That helps. Can you hear me now?
Sorry. A reminder to the club for Carrie Thornton. She's running our auction, and it's coming up in just a month and a half. The challenge that's been put up for each committee, I believe, is to come up with 50 items of value. So this will be one of our first significant fundraisers, one we count on. So please, it's hard right now asking for stuff. I get it. I'm doing this with some other things. It's hard. Get creative, call in favorites if you can, do what we can, create unique experiences. We have a chance to raise a good amount of money here with the auction. So just a shout out to Gary with that. And you also saw an email today, which will actually be our first fundraiser. And it's a new, somewhat COVID-proof fundraiser. It's the hockey auction. Many people in the room will remember the CRS auction over the years. This is a form of it. So you saw an email this morning, special project by Mike Rube is running that. So that's a sign up. There's a limited number, but a great chance for us to make some money, and some credit to Chris Holmes and his committee for coming up with some new and innovative fundraisers in these times we're with. Also on your table, as you see, is the Rotary pipe. That is our current sign up, and I've never been so excited about a porta potty, but I can tell you after literally 20 phone calls, I have secured a portable toilet, and we can never, that's significant. It is significant. They're not available. They're not available. So if you're interested in the Friday camping, the Saturday hike, the Saturday barbecue, please throw your name on that list. If you have any questions, let me know. And that's next Saturday, so it's coming up quickly. So with that, I will ask Dennis to come forward and share an announcement with us. Please, Dennis.
My mask on, so no one can hear me when you said. Okay, thanks, President Jody, call the carrier. This is the second year of our Halloween spirit contest. We've added a few items this year. The main significant one is the Family Day on Saturday, October 30th, to be held at Meridian Square. We have the VAs on board to provide a lot of support for that. We have the carving contest between our VA and Sheffield downtown. We have research contest from the people downtown. We have physics costume contest that prizes will be available for. Craig Graham's organizing live music and for background for various events, and our own Mike McCann will be the MC. I don't want anybody discouraged by that. Please come anyway. Bring your kids, your grandkids, and your grandkids. We'll all have a good time. Aside from that, the project is 4 major categories. We have the front door, and we've got pumpkin party. And we also have a pumpkin purchase facility available. Lauren Figman is in the process of purchasing 1,000 pumpkins right now for distribution, of which 100 will be down at the Meridian Square, various places on October 30th. So if you know of anybody that's going out and purchasing pumpkin, Lauren will be more than happy to deliver it. Our website will be up shortly, where everybody can enter the contest and go through the procedures. There'll be announcements throughout the time of the contest where people will be advised after the enter when you'll be able to start downloading the pictures. We have people going around taking pictures during the process of decoration being put in place. So we're looking forward to another good year of this project. We've already got thousands of dollars in on sponsorship money that's gone towards purchasing prizes. We've had great support from all of our media partners, and looking forward to the great event. So please go online, buy your pumpkin, enter your house, tell your neighbors, and we'll have another successful year. Thank you very much.
The conference that many of you have done was actually a really great time. And we were awarded a Rotary citation. So this is to all of you that made this happen. So the citation is awarded to the club that meets certain criteria, goals and criteria established each year by the incoming Rotary International President. So a big thank you to the club. Thank you, Rotary International's And to last year's directors worked diligently with all their committees, so Al Mallory, Bob Galloway, Eric Dean, Alison Journal, Peter Lorimer, Jill Rod, Betty Ann Lewis, Chris Henninger, Chuck Holt, as ambassadors, Katie James, and of course the executive with President Craig, our secretary extraordinary Jeff, and then in our information packet. So thank you everyone for making 2021 great success, and this is yours. And a little bit more on the conference. But it's very involved, which is always awesome. And when I look back, there were 3 very memorable talks, and they were the past exchange students. And these go back more than 10 years, even more than 30 years, and how it has impacted their lives. So the speakers of the conference are posted on the district's website. I'm going to pass to the beacon some of the highlights of the ones that I really like with some links. And I strongly recommend that you click on the page and you enjoy that. But I must say the absolute epitome of the conference was when the Berry Club shined. So not only did we step up to sell tickets to, the giveaway basket, which ended up getting $2,800 out of the room. Past President Joey identified that there was an amazing gift basket. One had Scott had all kinds of food in it, just a bit more exceptional. So he approached District Governor Steve, you know what? You know how our club makes money? Sure do, go for it. So President Joey stepped up, did our auction, $20 a ticket, 100 tickets sold, 5 minutes, $2,000, all went for cheap. So let's just remember, $10,000 is up for grabs. They're seeing the links, seeing it coming out more and more. It is so easy. Just click on it, hit water, and you're done. That's it. So please, please, please hit it. You can do it on every single tablet, cell phone, computer, whatever. Just keep doing it. It's a chance of $10,000. So let's help out with it. Thank you.
Thank you, President Deb. And folks, this is really an acknowledgement of the club, but it's certainly an acknowledgement of past President Deb's leadership last year. So really, I think around the applause. Yeah. All right, let's type on sign here. Let's get into birthday greetings, Jack. Let's throw you a curveball here. We had one birthday greeting today, club member Jack Garner. Some interesting club anniversaries. Past President Craig Graham celebrated a 20-year anniversary with the club today. Doug Bingley, 25 years with the club. And another very cool achievement in our club, Ken Baxter, is celebrating 53 years of dedicated service to the community and to our club on September 20th. Kenny, you're probably online.
Yes, he's on.
Yes, Ken. That's absolutely amazing. Congratulations to you. We and the city of Barrie are better because of you, Kenny. And as always, a donation to our club's polio plus eradication campaign will be made in your name, acknowledging this.
You just sing it now.
We just really? All right, who's going to start this off? Don't go in the microphone. Let's sing it. To you, happy birthday to you. I said this already, and I'll say it again for our guests. For years, I've sat in that back corner and saying, roll, when we do this. That's payback. We need to change that at some point this year. All right, Larry, we have 5 minutes. Sergeant at Arms, battered and bruised.
Battered and bruised indeed, for Larry.
We got 5 minutes, Bob.
Okay. Good afternoon, and and my American Magical Rotary guests.
And today's greeting is brought to you by the Basque people of southwestern France and northeastern Spain. Now, a little bit earlier on, I'm sitting at a table with young Doug Short, and he asked me what day was today. So I'm gonna ask you, Doug, any ideas what today may be? Well, I'll tell you. Today is National Cinnamon Raisin Bread Day, so everyone enjoy. Now, last week, Donovan Bruce, SAARs. Now, I've got to tell you, we all know that past President Chris Garrity is one of my favorite people on the entire planet. But I guess in one word, corruption would describe the meeting last week. I'm not 100% sure.
It pains me to agree with that. Chris, I love Chris, but you and I are a team, I'm with you. He's so rough.
I got fined $10 because there's a hurricane in underneath. You know, our good friend Dave Mills got fined $0. Dave Mills has been riding the free gravy train of Baycat, we're all Baycat, of course, but the free Baycat advertising train for the entire season. In addition, he tried to steal a pen last week. Kyle Campbell sold his house for, I understand, upwards of $25 million and paid, I think, $50 as the fine. John Ingram paid the same amount for buying a new car as what I paid for buying a new car 6 years ago. And
There. No, I'm not done. Wait, you made me. I love what you're doing. We all read this in the beacon from last week. Let's go to this week.
Well, that's really all I have for this week, except for the fact I want to pick up the second week of September, we're already being happy, we're so. And Chuck, not only was 15 minutes late for his guest arrival, but also during Peter Berenson's badge, Paul Berenson's badge, excuse me, I apologize. I should put a sense for that. Anyways, so what I think this week's SAA program is about, revenge. There's no other word for it. So I believe that in your capable hands, and that's all
I'm not
I know.
gonna go for revenge. Revenge is not a Rotarian word. Forgiveness and healing is, and you took a meeting last week. I think the club is going to show you some love. I'll show you some love. We'll let you off the hook. Prepare for next week. I'm throwing you under the bus here. No, we have nothing. We forgive you. We forgive past President Chris being so harsh on you. We need you to entertain us with new and relevant and hopefully funny material at our ongoing meetings. Truly love Sergeant at Arms Lars.
Thank you, President Joy. I appreciate that. And I feel like somebody's fourth choice as date for the dance. Anyways, have a great afternoon, everybody.
That whole bit might have been a good segue for today. So just before I ask Arlette to come forward to kick off today's debate, I would just like to thank each of our candidates for being here today and for their willingness to become involved in public service to try and make a difference. So with that, I will let Arlette come up. Are we going to switch seats? I'll go to the floor.
Thank you, past President Jody, for. Yeah, when that point is not. Thank you, President Jody, parliamentarians, guests, special guests at the table. It is my pleasure to act as the moderator of our all candidates program. Rotary is not a political organization, but all Rotarians are vitally concerned with good citizenship and the importance of public service. So we welcome you today and hope that we gain insight into you as citizens and as people who are seeking public office. In the 15 years that I have been moderating the all candidates events to this club, I have never had such an interesting experience as we had this past week. And I have to say it's been very challenging, so I know that it's been very challenging for candidates as well. So thank you for being here. Our format is different than in years past, due to the time constraints leading up to the election. We invited the candidates from the four major parties, from both local ridings, North and South, to join us on the same day as instead of over a 2-day period. As it turns out, we have no green candidates in either riding, no green candidate in either riding. And we had a regret from one of the liberal candidates from the South riding. But we do have the two NDP candidates joining us on Zoom. And since we're not interactive on Zoom anymore, they will be represented, their notes have come in, and our and past President Debbie will be reading their notes. So, thank you very much for keeping us into your schedule. I'd like to thank Ara for helping organize today's program. This is not a debate, but an opportunity to have representatives of themselves, the concerns they have for their ridings, and to answer a specific question pertaining to a prominent issue in this election. The questions have been given to the candidates prior to the meeting. They will answer the first 2 questions, and the third question will be has been randomly assigned based on the draw numbers prior to this meeting. The candidates' answers will be timed by our Secretary of Larry Conklin, who will give a 15-second warning to wrap up the answers. Thank you, Larry. And Larry, there's no big pressure here. You are taking over from our esteemed friend, the late Bernie Robbins. So there's big pressure on you.
Big shoes to fill.
Do this correctly. Running for election requires a great personal commitment of time and resources for both candidate, family, and supporters. It also requires determination and emotional control. Do not think for a moment that we as Rotarians overlook what you should do for things for this election, no matter what the outcome. So it is now my pleasure to introduce each of the candidates who are with us today. So, Alicia will be here.
Thank you.
And Sarah will be here. Okay, representing Barry Innisville, representing the Conservative Party of Canada and the briefly mentioned Rotary. Alicia Costanzo is the representative for the Democratic Party, who I believe is joining us on Zoom, and she isn't there yet, she will be shortly. Filling in for her and reading her notes will be our Khan. In the Barrie Springwater Oral Adoption riding, we have Doug Shipley, representing the Conservative Party of Canada, Paul Nisari, a member of our club, representing the Liberal Party of Canada, and Sarah Lockheed, the New Democratic Party, I think is on Zoom as well, and past President and Chair will be filling in for her. So let us begin. In order to get to know you better, our first question is, tell us about yourself, your background, and why you are a good candidate to represent us. You will have 3 minutes to answer this question, and Sergeant at Arms Larry will give you a 15-second warning before your time is up. So we are going to start off with Doug Shipley.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. First, I'd like to extend my sincere thanks to Rotary for organizing this event. It's a great pleasure to be out here and see so many familiar faces of friends and family. There's no family here. Bruce right here. Bruce, I know. Don't think you're going to miss this one. As he texted me yesterday, you're Rotary, he said, why? There's family a lot. I think I can see, oh, he's smiling now, but this is payback because he can't speak. I'm really up my time now, so I better get into it. But thanks for joining us, Bruce. Much appreciated. Remember that at Christmas time. It's great to have an additional opportunity to speak from a conservative platform in Canada to cover plans for the future. Thanks also to my fellow candidates for being here today and for conducting positive campaigns. I hope residents have noticed and appreciated this tone. I've been privileged to serve the people of Barrie Springwater Rural Monte as a member of Parliament since my election in the 43rd general election. I have worked tirelessly to represent our community in Ottawa. As your federal representative for the past 2 years, I have advocated for local and federal issues of importance. As your representative in Parliament, I have questioned Justin Trudeau on federal infrastructure spending and question the Deputy Prime Minister on the Liberal government's broken promise to reinstate clean water, the Lake Simcoe cleanup fund, a promise that has never been fulfilled. I question the Liberal government, the House of Commons on the housing crisis, ask questions on behalf of local business owners who were not eligible for COVID-19 economic supports when they were so desperately needed, and ask the federal government to allocate extra resources to police services across Canada to fight crime. I also delivered speeches in the House of Commons in response to the Liberals' own speech, in response to the budget tabled by the Liberals, and as an advocate for protecting the environment and Lake Simcoe. As an advocate for reliable high-speed internet across Barrie, Springwater, and Montague, and requested support for the tourism industry, one of the hardest hit sectors during the COVID-19 pandemic. I was proud to deliver a speech upon third reading of Bill C-210 regarding organ and tissue donation in Canada, which has now received royal assent. I was heavily involved in parliamentary committee work as a member of the Public Safety and National Security Committee. I questioned members on the whole board after a 22-year-old woman was tragically killed by an offender who was released on parole. I presented a petition initiated by Barrie West and Rose Ray, who was one of a group of people who lost their life savings as a result of white-collar crime and fraud. I was proud to be the seconder of Bill C-204, an act to amend the Canadian Environmental Protection Act regarding the export of Canada's plastic waste, a great bill that died in the Senate when this unnecessary election was called. I was humbled to rise in the House of Commons on various occasions to acknowledge the passing of beloved committee members, including Scott McPherson, Scott Jeremy, Mark Ramola, and the Honorable Eileen Carroll. I repeatedly advocated for reinstating the Lake Simcoe Cleanup Fund and Rotary College International Witness Day in the Rising. I assisted residents in great times of need, including residents who were stranded abroad when international borders closed at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. I coordinated repatriation efforts and liaised with foreign and domestic officials to assist with bringing Canadians home.
I'll give you some of my time.
All right, thank you. I'll go right to the end here. The Conservative Party of Canada has extensive policy plans to steer Canada's recovery from the pandemic and move forward. So I look forward to expanding on Canada's Conservative plan for our country. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doug. The good news is the Garrett has to follow the rules as well. Next up, thank you. Everybody hear me okay? So thank you very much, and well, I thank you for having me here. And I was telling Doug, this is my second in-person Rotary meeting, and I didn't anticipate I would be standing in front of you as a Liberal candidate, yet here I am. So for those of you who haven't gotten to know me, you're going to get a chance now. So my name is Sarah. I am a local candidate in Barrie, Springwater, or Montague. Thank you for inviting us here. And again, I do want to thank Doug and Stan and Sarah, because we've had run a very positive and building campaign that I do talk probably once a week. So it's been a great experience for me as a first-time hunter to have some sort of support from somebody you might not expect to get it from. I am a mom, I am a wife, and I am a small business owner. I've been a resident of Barrie for about 16 years and moved here with our family from the West Coast. My husband and I were both born and raised in Ontario, but we moved from coast to coast and landed back in Barrie 16 years ago. I'm a strong community advocate, which is what led me to the Rotary Club. I've been involved with such organizations as Redwood Park Communities. I'm on the walk committee with the Alzheimer's Walk Memories. I'm the chair at the school my son goes, St. Joseph's High School, and also a member of the Rotary Club. I have a background in finance, 9 years with CIBC before I transitioned into owning my own businesses. Some might know me as Turbo Tanya when I owned my fitness business. I taught many classes here in the city, and then transitioned into becoming a real estate agent about 6 years ago. So understand the struggles of small businesses. I don't have a political background, and if you'd asked me 5 years ago if I would be standing in front of you as your liberal candidate, I would have given you a hard no. Yet here I am. I'm here because I am you. I represent or I resonate with each one of you that's sitting in front of me today. I am a partner, I am a parent, I am a daughter, and I am a resident in this area. I want a better future for our children, for our grandchildren, and a better present for us and for my parents, for our family, for our friends, and for my own kids. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to introduce myself, and I'll be back. Thank you, Tanya. Representing Barry Pistel, John Broussard.
And thank you, Odette, and President Jody, and all those parents for having us here today. I think Arlette said right at the onset that this is an unusual election. It's a sprint, not a marathon, 35 days. To really present a vision to Canadians on what the future looks like. And the theme of our campaign has been Secure the Future. For those of you who don't know, my name is John Broussard. I am the incumbent MP for the riding of Barrie-Innisfil, and I was the first MP riding of Barrie-Innisfil. I was honored to replace Patrick Brown as the MP, the very hard-working Patrick Brown. I think over the course of the last 6 years, I've worked just as hard. Many of you in this room and who are watching online know that we've been in constant contact over the course of the last 18 months, and it's been a hell of 18 months. Just to put it in context, what we've been dealing with in my office alone, we actually started a customer resource management system to keep track of what was coming into the office. And over the course of the last 18 months, we've had over 13,000 phone calls and emails come into our office. We have had, I have had personally 500 Zoom meetings, not just local, but business owners like the Chamber and others right across the country, talking to stakeholders, businesses, and veteran organizations. So it's been a very, very busy 18 months. My background, I've got a lot of experience politically. Spent 9 years as a Barrie City Councillor. I was chair of various committees. I worked with Mayor Dave Aston and Mayor Doug Freeman. For the past 6 years, as I said, I've been a member of Parliament for various. Within that time, I have served in several key roles, one of which is critic, or as we like to call it now, shadow minister for Veterans Affairs for the last 3 years, working with veterans and their families right across the country, trying to improve their lives and get them the benefits that they have earned. And it's been oftentimes a very emotional position to be in, as you can imagine. Those who served our country, who many have made the ultimate sacrifice, either through injury, trauma, physical, mental health, or otherwise, and dealing with their families has been emotional. For 3 years, I spent my time as deputy whip of the Conservative Party in the House of Commons. I was on the leadership team in the House of Commons, determining strategy within the House, and really going out and right across the country, not just locally, but right across the country, and working to talk to Canadians about the issues that are important to them. Being a member of Parliament is a great honor. It certainly is an incredible privilege, and I'm privileged to serve the residents of Barrie-Innisfil, and I look forward to serving for another term, however long that may be. Thank you.
Thank you, John. And now representing the New Democratic Party for Alicia Gaskowski is our Khan.
Thank you, Arlette. Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. As I mentioned, I am here to share the words of Alicia Gaskowski. Somewhere up there on your screen, she is zooming in with us today. She's unable to be here in person for some challenges, but she has shared her words with us today, and I'm happy to speak on her behalf. So hi everyone, I said my apologies for being unable to attend today. I'm dealing with the loss of a good friend. I appreciate the Rotary from Barrie for holding this meeting and for so kindly reading my statement today. I truly appreciate the opportunity to share my platform with you all. My name is Alicia Gaskowski. My pronouns are she, her, or they, and them. I'm a young queer woman, a passionate advocate, and a proud member of this community. I hope the message brought forward today resonates with those of you who are attending this great event. First, I'd like to touch on my educational background. I have degrees in both political science and criminology, and I'm currently working on a master's degree in social justice studies, concentrating on household food insecurity in Simcoe County. My educational background has prepared me for this position, and I have worked on previous political campaigns, most notably Angelique Belcour's campaign for the Simcoe North NDP in 2019. I've been a huge advocate for young people, helping bridge gaps and teaching my friends and colleagues about the importance of voting and political engagement. I've done work with the Durham Regional Police, helping to work on a study regarding body-worn cameras that has now been widely shared and applied to other police forces. I've been involved in a number of community organizing events. Last summer, I co-organized 2 rallies in support of Black Lives Matter and Black, Indigenous people of color. I've been a strong community advocate and will continue to do the work for Barrie Innisfil. This is not just a paycheck for me. It is a privilege and honor to serve my community, and if elected as MP, I will not forget that. I am young, I am motivated, but that does not mean that I am naive or not ready for this position. I will show up every day with the mentality to make change, and I will prove that with my actions, not just my words. Our riding would benefit from having me as an MP because I care. I care about the people in our community, the environment, and I care about our local economy. I want to see people in our community thrive rather than struggle to get by. As I have said previously, I've seen the issues faced by many community members, and I myself have experienced it personally. If elected MP, I will take action against injustice and inequalities in our community. I will show up and I will do the work. I will ensure nobody has to struggle for the access to services. Excuse me. That everyone has fair access to public transportation, that everyone can access the basic needs of clean water, food, and safe, affordable housing. I will tackle hate and injustice because I have no home in Barrie, and most importantly, I will advocate for every person in this community, regardless of whether they voted for me or not. I am by the people, for the people, and I'm part of this community. Thanks very much for your time.
From the North Riding is Councilor Elizabeth Fair on behalf of Sarah Block. Okay, take time, I'll get right into it. My name is Sarah Rodney. I want to thank the Rotary Club for the opportunity to share with you, and I wish I could be here in person to do so. Please accept my apologies for not being here today, as I have an existing family commitment. I am a 39-year-old mother, dance artist, and community builder. My background is in the arts. I have a BFA and MA in dance from York University. I've always had an interest in politics. In fact, when I applied to university, I was accepted into it. I first moved to Barrie in 2007 and became involved in local arts advocacy with the Barrie Arts and Culture Council. In 2009, I founded Simcoe Contemporary Dancers for a not-for-profit dance company that has received many accolades, including the Barrie Arts Award for contribution to the community. From organizing benefit performances, creating opportunities, facilitating community-led art projects, my art practice is inherently political as it has always been rooted in community building. For this reason, I sought out and completed Olivia Chap's Leadership for Change course at the Institute for Change Makers. I've had a wide variety of education and work experiences that enable me to think critically and see the ways in which complex issues are often interconnected. For example, I've worked in the public sector as a recreation programmer for the city of Barrie, in the private sector working at local dance studios as an educator, and in the not-for-profit sector with Simcoe Contemporary Dancers as a director of Canada's Dance Magazine, and as the Director of Administration for the Dance Transition Resource Center, all of which have required an in-depth understanding of collaborative planning, budgeting, project management, and communication skills. My career in art has time and again shown me that not everybody is going to see the bold idea you envision right away. You may deem it impossible. You may have to find new creative ways to action what you envision to do it. You literally start with an idea and create something tangible in the world. It's inspiring, it's beautiful, and to be frank, it's not unlike policy. You start with a bold vision, consult with your team and stakeholders, you write the project proposals, you garner support for your proposal, and then implement action plans, budgets, and timelines for the project. Complete statistics and reports to be able to not only show the final product, but also discuss how it could improve. What inspired me to put my name forward to becoming an elected MP was becoming a mom. Sitting in lockdown and holding my then 6-week-old baby, I listened and watched the news cycle and realized I didn't see people like me in government. I felt powerless. Here was this tiny human in my arms, and all I kept thinking was, what kind of world was I walking into? So I stepped up to be part of the solution. I found a natural alignment of values with the NDP, in particular the desire to build a better future collective. That desire to bring everyone up and make tangible changes at the heart of what makes me the right man for represent theirs is Thank you, past President Debbie, on behalf of Sarah Lockheed. So the second question was derived because we have different ridings being represented. So the second question is, what is your biggest concern for your riding, and if elected, how will you address this? You'll each have 2 minutes to answer this question. Where will give you a second warning, and we're going to start off with our representing Alicia.
Thank you. On behalf of Alicia, I have a multitude of concerns, but they all tie into one very important issue, and that is harm reduction. Barry is in the middle of an opioid crisis. The main reason I couldn't attend today is because over this past weekend, my friend died. My friend overdosed in Barry after enduring a long struggle with mental health and addiction. They were 21 years old. This isn't the first friend I've lost to mental health and addiction, but I certainly know that if action isn't taken, this won't be the last. Enough is enough. You shouldn't have to be at your breaking point to get help and support for mental health and addiction. The kids aren't all right, and it's time to step in. The NDP believes access to mental health care should be a universal aspect of our healthcare system. So many people who need help can't access that help. So many people who need help can't access that help because it's either unaffordable, inaccessible, or just non-existent. Another thing I will advocate for is safe consumption sites and the decriminalization of drugs. People are dying, and we need to do something about it. Having trained professionals to supervise drug users and addictions counseling services could be the difference that saves someone's life. To my second point, in April, NDP health critic Don Davies introduced groundbreaking legislation to decriminalize drug use in Canada and to treat substance use comprehensively as a health issue. Davies' bill would address Canada's overdose epidemic by decriminalizing personal possession, expunging criminal records for possession, ensuring low barrier access to safe supply, and expanding access to harm reduction, treatment, and recovery services. Forcing people to buy poison drugs from criminal street gangs is causing avoidable deaths, so ensuring a safe, regulated supply is essential. Trauma and stigma are leading contributors to the barriers in place to preventing the recovery from occurring in our community. We have a real issue in barriers that needs to be attention. We can't keep letting other people suffer in silence. Thank you.
Next up is the same question, Joe.
Thank you, Arlette, and no question, the issues that Alicia has brought up are certainly a concern for our community. One of the things that I'm hearing most of is affordability and what economic recovery looks like. As I said earlier, the past 18 months, during this COVID crisis, Canadians have needed help, businesses have needed help, and we've all been there as parliamentarians to provide that help. But it's come at great cost, $400 billion in deficits, $1.2 trillion in debt. Just yesterday, we saw Canada's inflation rate increase to 4.1%, which is directly affecting the cost of everything, the necessities of life, hearing procedures and families, about gas going up, about groceries going up, about home heating going up. All of those things are really directly affecting the bottom line, not just families, but businesses. So economic recovery is going to be important. That's what Canada's recovery plan is all about. It's focused as we've not been over the last 18 months. The last 18 months have been about the expense side of the ledger to tune of the deficits and debts that I mentioned earlier. But we need to focus on what the revenue side of the ledger is going to look like. And it means a recovery plan that benefits all Canadians in every sector, every region of this country. Our economic recovery will be driven by businesses, the people that they employ, the products and services that they produce in every part of this country and in every sector, in every region of this country. It means that we have to put ourselves in a position where domestically we're competitive and internationally we're competitive. And it's not going to be a big interventionist government like we've seen the Trudeau government did over the last 6 years that's going to create that economic environment. So our recovery is important. Affordability is an issue. The Canada's recovery plan will tackle both those issues. Thank you.
My biggest concern, and one I hear echoed in conversations people in our riding, is affordability. People are being priced out of their communities. The cost of living is not slowing, and wages have not kept up with these costs. To tackle this, the NDP will address out-of-control housing prices, reduce the student debt burden, make prescription drugs available to everyone, ensure affordable rates for broadband internet and cell coverage, build a universal $10 per day child care system, implement proactive pay equity legislation to address gender-based wage discrimination, invest in good quality jobs all over Canada.
So we've all knocked hundreds of doors and made thousands of doors, made hundreds of phone calls, and ironically, not the biggest concern that I'm hearing at doors is affordable housing and the affordable housing crisis that we're in. And I'm able to speak to it because I'm in it. I've seen over the last 18 months what's happened in the housing industry. When the pandemic first began, in my career, our expectation was that there would be a housing crash, the housing market would crash. And it's done the complete opposite. People are struggling to find homes to live in. Not only a home to live in, like purchase, but also to rent. There's been very difficult for people here at home. So buyers are struggling, renters are struggling. So I was really pleased with the housing platform that we'll already introduced. We have a commitment to build 1.4 million homes over the next 4 years, 1.4 million affordable homes. And all of those homes need to be affordable. They also need to be accessible, and they also need to be adaptable. So I see right here at home too, there's a lot of seniors saying, I'd love to downsize. I would love to go to my big home, but I don't want to go to a condo yet. So it has to be something that's going to make sense for people. Co-developed housing plan for Indigenous people living in urban, rural, and rural communities is also something we've committed to. Aging parents and grandparents being given the opportunity to age at home. So we're introducing some funding to help with multi-generational homes to keep aging parents at home. I know my mom is one of those parents who wants to stay at home, so I'm going to do everything that I can to keep her there. We're going to extend the national tax on non-resident, non-community holders of unused housing, which will include owned and vacant land in large urban areas. And then finally, it's my job as your agent to advocate. So advocate for our community to ensure that we're recognized as an area that is deeply impacted with this housing crisis and make some change. Thank you.
Thank you. We're definitely hearing a common theme up here that throughout the course of this campaign, my team and I have knocked on 25,000 doors. Another definition of here most often is affordability. The cost of living is increasing. The rate of inflation has risen 4.1%. This is the highest level since 1993. Grocery bills are up 5%. Gas prices have skyrocketed, and are projected to continue to rise. Reality is that families are struggling to meet their needs. Canada's Conservatives have a detailed plan to get inflation under control, lower prices, and make life more affordable for families. Our plan to lower prices includes introducing a GST holiday to help families in hard-hit retail stores recover from the pandemic. Canada's Conservatives will ensure that Canadians pay lower prices for food by increasing price fixing penalties and introducing criminal penalties for executives found guilty of price fixing. Conservatives have a detailed plan to address the soaring cost of housing in Canada. We will also take real action to reduce the prices being paid for cell phones and internet bills by promoting competition and building infrastructure to connect all of Canada to high-speed internet by 2025. Concerners are aware that families are struggling to get by. We commit to focusing on the economy and ensuring a personal and financial economic future.
Thank you, everybody. So the third question, we provided different election topics to each of the candidates. We provided 6 questions. Each of the candidates have drawn a number to answer one of those. So we're going to start off with Tanya, and the question is, given the cost of the pandemic, how does your party plan to deal with the budget, both deficit and debt? All right. Thank you for the question. So the Liberal plan focuses on investing in people, innovation, and communities in order to position Canada as a leader in clean growth and to be a healthier, fairer, and more prosperous society. The 3 biggest components of our plan will improve our health and raise our long-term growth. We have a real plan to achieve universal $10 daycare and reduce the fees parents pay by 50% by next year. This one is a huge one to me that hits home hard. I said earlier I had a 9-year career with CIBC. When I was told that, or when I had my children, we made a decision that I was going to stay home with my kids because the daycare was just too expensive. This is a huge one. And for every dollar that is saved on daycare, we're about $2 back into the economy. It's going to get people back to work. Not only that, but it's going to create thousands of jobs for daycare providers or care providers. We have a real plan to strengthen universal public health care and a real plan to make home ownership a reality for communities. We plan to raise corporate income taxes on the largest, most profitable banks and insurance companies who earn more than $1 billion per year. And we'll also significantly increase the resources of the Canada Revenue Agency to combat aggressive tax planning and tax avoidance that allows the wealthiest to avoid paying the taxes that they owe. This will increase the CRA's resources by up to $1 billion per year in order to close Canada's tax gap. We were the first federal party to release our costed plan, and we are setting a new bar for transparency. We have a responsible plan to promote fairness and promote growth. Thank you. The second question is with regard to healthcare. The pandemic has shown us how fragile our healthcare systems can be. How does your party plan to improve it in the future? And to answer that question, John, sorry.
Thank you, Arlette, and that is a very important question. And investing in healthcare is paramount to our recovery plan. We've seen the provincial healthcare systems that have been stretched to the max. We are planning, it's in our Canada Recovery Plan, to invest $60 billion over 10 years of predictable, stable funding for the provinces, but more importantly, to respect the provinces and work with them in that desire for mutual respect to make sure that that funding goes towards the healthcare crisis that is existing today. And a healthcare crisis, I don't need to remind you, involves mental health. We've seen over the course of this pandemic, young, old, family, the impact on mental health has been critical. So our plan is to invest an additional $325 million over the course of the next 3 years on the issue of mental health. The opioid crisis, which has already been addressed locally, is a national emergency, and to that end, we're looking at investing a significant amount of money on the opioid crisis to include 1,000 new health treatment beds, 50 recovery centers, and more. And I will say this, and one of the things that has come up time and time again during my course of federal politics is the fear factor of maintaining our universal public healthcare system. There is no politician in this country who would touch universal healthcare and access to our public system. There are ways to enhance the system, and we're seeing in areas like that, certainly in Ontario. How many of you did the White House to get your money for an all expense? How many of you have paid a dime for that service? It's a private, for-profit healthcare system that is used and designed to supplement and take pressure off our current healthcare system. The Liberals and Justin Trudeau, when I first advertised this locally, will always go back to the fear factor well when it comes to universal healthcare. We are going to maintain it. We're going to maintain public
access to it, the universality of it is critical to Canadians and it's critical to Canada's conservatives. Thank you.
John. Our third question, which will be answered by Doug Shipley, is regarding small business support. The pandemic has hit the small business sector the hardest. How does your party plan to assist this vital sector of our economy?
Thank you. Thank you. As a small business owner, this is obviously for over 20 years, this is a very important issue to myself. But Barrie Spring Rotary is home to many small businesses that have endured the pandemic. They have borne the brunt of the downturn. Despite their crucial position at the backbone of Canada's job market, Conservatives know it is time to rebuild Main Street. A Conservative government will give small businesses the support they need to get back on their feet. We will launch the Main Street Business Loan of up to $200,000. We will also introduce the Rebuild Main Street Tax Credit, which will provide a 25% tax credit on amounts of up to $100,000 that Canadians personally invest in a small business. This will be a strong incentive for Canadians to invest their money to help entrepreneurs rebuild our country. Additionally, a Conservative government will strengthen Canada's position as a world leader in technology and innovation in grain by removing barriers for small businesses to grow and create jobs. We will also invest $5 billion over the next 5 years on projects aimed at making major advances in science and technology. Conservatives appreciate and are aware of the great contribution small businesses have on our economy, and we will continue to support this essential sector.
Thank you, Doug. The next question we have is with regard to climate change, which will be answered by Sarah Lodge, Past President Doug. Climate change continues to be a serious issue. How will your party deal with the issues within Canada and globally?
The climate crisis is putting everything we value at risk, but it's not too late to act. The Liberals have set emissions targets that are not in line with what best available science says is needed and won't do enough to prevent it. Catastrophic consequences of warming above 1.5 degrees. The Conservatives only added climate action to their platform this election to make up for its glaring absence in 2019. Their so-called plan won't make a difference. 2 years ago, the House of Commons declared climate change an emergency. But combating this existential threat, one of the greatest threats facing Canadians on our planet, will take more than talk. It's time to do better. Only let's say, and the NDP have got a plan to fight the climate crisis and win. The new Democratic government will eliminate fossil fuel subsidies once and for all, undo the Liberals' decision to let big polluters off the hook, cut emissions by more than half, and meet the 1.5 degree target that scientists say is necessary then capacity. Create hundreds of thousands of good paying jobs by investing in clean energy efficient, affordable homes, electric transit, zero emission vehicles, retrofit all homes across the country, create a climate bank to invest in fighting the climate emergency instead of an infrastructure bank that only aims to enrich rich investors. On September 20th, the NDP is the clear choice to bring about real change, to treat the climate crisis with the urgency necessary to a better future for us all.
Thank you. And finally, affordable housing. We have seen unprecedented rising costs in the new and resale market. How does your party plan to create affordability for those who cannot enter the housing market as either buyer or renter? And Tara, will you answer that question?
Housing is a right, and the NDP knows this. As a person who is currently unable to afford a home, this is something very important to me. Everyone deserves a safe and clean place to call home, not just a roof over their heads, a comfortable place to live. Canada is in the midst of a national housing crisis impacting every area of the country. Average rents rose in every single province last year. 1.6 million Canadian households spend more than 30% of their income on housing. Canada has the fastest growing house prices in the G7, a trend that shows no signs of slowing. What this means in real terms is that families in our communities are facing constant stress and impossible choices between rent or food, living in substandard housing, or relocating out of their community, or worse, the real risk of homelessness. New Democrats believe that it's time to help people now. We have an ambitious plan that will make a difference in every community in our country, because finding a good, affordable place to live shouldn't be like winning the lottery. It's time to relieve the stress and worry that people feel by choosing to make it easier to rent and buy a home. That's why a new Democratic government will create at least 500,000 units of quality, affordable housing in the next 10 years, with half of that done within 5. This will be achieved with the right mix of effective measures that work in partnership with provinces and municipalities, build capacity for social, community, and affordable housing providers, to provide rental support for co-ops and meet environmental energy efficiency goals. This ambitious plan will create thousands of jobs in communities all across the country, jump-starting the economic recovery and helping Canadians to get affordable housing they need. New Democrats will set up fast start funds to streamline the application process and help communities get the expertise and assistance they need to get projects off the ground now. Thank you.
So, in the interest of time, because Jody's leaving a lot, we are going to have a wrap up on each of the candidates, and instead of 1 minute, we'll do it in 30 seconds. No, okay, sorry, we can't, you'll have to stay. But before we do, I want to thank everybody for participating in this on behalf of the club, and thank you for caring about our community and putting yourself out there. Good luck to you all. So to wrap up, we'll start off with Deputy Representative Sept.
I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to contribute to the conversation today. While I couldn't be here in person, I'd like to extend invitations to all of you to join me at a previously scheduled virtual meeting over Zoom at 9 p.m. tonight. Information can be found on the social media pages. If we want different results, we need to make different choices, and that is exactly what the Democrats offer. Affordable housing, healthcare that covers farming care, mental care, and mental health supports. A bold plan to tackle the climate crisis, $10 a day childcare, the election for reconciliation of Indigenous people. This election is our chance to build a better future for everyone. With your vote, we have the power to say, I expect more from my government, and I want to be part of the solution. And a vote for me, Karen Wilkie, as your elected MP is the way to take this back.
Thank you all for being my 30 seconds. I just want to thank everybody on the Rotary Club for having me here as a speaker today. I look forward to being back in the club seat next week. And thank you to all the candidates that attended today. I think you got a lot of great information. And you know, we touched on the 6 topics that are really important to people who live in this area. And I just want to assure you that if I'm your elected MP, my top 3 would be to combat affordable housing crisis, the opioid crisis, as well as climate change. So thank you again for having me, and I'll see you next week.
Once again, thank you to Rotary Club for organizing this event today, and to fellow candidates for your participation. This election is critical for the future of our country. On Monday, September 20th, your vote will help decide the future of Canada. Canada's conservatives have a comprehensive plan to get Canada back on track and secure the future. It's a plan that assists all Canadians and makes life more affordable. Canada's conservatives are the only alternative to secure the future and restore competency, transparency, and accountability to government. I truly believe that Canada's best days lie ahead. Here we go. Friends of the Democrats are different because we're working people. For our whole history, we have fought for better working conditions and standards that lift everyone up. We know that good jobs and treat people fairly make a real difference to Canadian families, and that setting Canadians up for success in the work world future benefits us all. New ways of thinking can shape the recovery from COVID-19, help make our economy fairer, and deliver the results we all want. What we've seen over the past 6 years is a liberal prime minister who loves to say the right thing, to promise to address issues that matter to Canadians with no intention of delivering on them. Liberals have been promising farm care and health care for decades.
In May 2020, 15 months ago, Degnan City called it just through into day sick leave. He said provinces need to look at a way to deliver sick leave directly through employers. The federal government can't do it. I think at a time on September 20th, I hope that you'll start electing as your MP. Thank you. First of all, I apologize for not getting all the stuff like that shit we did today. But in my 57 years on this earth, I have never seen this country more divided than we is today. Divided along regional lines, faith lines, every single line. The magnitude of the challenges that we're facing as this country can only be met if we are united in our cause. It's the only way to do it. We've done it before. We come out of the wars united, and we built a future for the next generation. And that's what this election is all about. You have a choice to make. You're at a fork in the road. Do we head down the same path of this fear and division, or do we recover economically together? This is a prime minister that cannot be redeemed. He can only be replaced. Thank you.
Well, thank you to all the candidates once again, and thank you to Ara for this role in organizing this today and for stepping in as one of the candidates, and to past President Debbie for also doing say that the very last moment. Larry, you did a great job, and we will be proud. And now I'd like to turn it over to Doug. Thank you.
Eric, I've never heard you so well. I'd just like to say on behalf of all Rotarians, both here and on Zoom, that politics is local, and we all know that. And what we've done today is an important part of not only our traditions, but for our democracy. And we gather and we applaud your commitment to public service, as do all of us, as you've heard just very briefly today. So although we can't promise everybody success on Monday, we wish you very, very best, and thanks for doing what you do.
And as I said, I'd like to thank the candidates for being here today and for very clean professional discussions. Art and Deb, thank you. As I was sitting in my past president's seat back there, I figured it would be October, and at least I can get there. Anyways, to close today's meeting, I was considering playing a song, because there are certainly many musicians who have written significant, very powerful anthems, which are politically charged. Songs such as Bob Dylan's The Times They Are Changing, Neil Young's Rockin' in the Free World, and the Boss's Very Misunderstood, Born in the USA, all would have been an excellent choice. However, I'm going to share a quote from a former US Senator, Margaret Chase Smith, who until this year was the longest serving Republican woman in the Senate, and whose words from almost 50 years ago proved to be quite timeless and appropriate today. Margaret's quote is, "My creed is that public service must be more than doing a job efficiently and honestly. It must be a complete dedication to the people and to the nation, with full recognition that every human being is entitled to courtesy and consideration, that constructive criticism is not only to be expected, but sought, that smears are not only to be expected, but fought, that honor is to be earned, not bought." That's Margaret Chase Smith. And folks, I'd like to remind the club next week, we have a very special meeting. I can't tell you what it is. I can encourage you, I can encourage our Zoomers. This is going to be a neat one. Get here, it's going to be a great meeting. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for a good meeting today. And with no further business for the good of Rotary, I declare this meeting.